Guys, Tronicle here, back at it again with another MOC review, and today we're going to be doing a review of Scarab Mark III. So yeah, let's get into it. Alrighty, so before we get on to the review, I would just like to say that this is the self-mock of my great friend, Scarab55, great guy. I'll link to his channel in the description because it is his birthday today. So, everyone go wish him a happy birthday. I know it's kind of late in the day, but yeah. Happy birthday, Scarab, and here is my version of your self-mock. I mean, you've seen it already, but anyway. So, yeah, like I said, while this is Scarab's self-mock, this is very, very much my own version of the build because, yeah, so I started out by building Scarab's own version of his self-mock, or the original version, I guess is what I'll call it. And I started out by building the original version, pretty much just spot on, really. I just built it identical to how he built it, but then I did add on a bunch of different things because in universe, like I did mention, this is Scarab Mark III. It is the third version of Scarab, and I do believe the original version's like either the second or Mark 1 or 2. I'm not too sure. We're still working out the specific kinks, but yeah. So this is Scarab Mark III in universe, so he does look a bit different. It is my own version of his self mock. So yeah, but as for the backstory of Scarab, there's not much I can say. Obviously, it isn't my own character, so I don't want to give away too much about Scarab's backstory from what Scarab has told me. Because yeah, like it is his character, so I'll let him reveal that as his series goes along. His series Corruption, which by the way, will be out on his channel hopefully by the end of the year. It's looking pretty great from what I've been seeing behind the scenes. So yeah, very excited for that. Go subscribe to him. So yeah, but I'll mainly talk about the backstory for the third version of Scarab. So kind of my own version of Scarab in universe. So, in universe, the third version of Scarab here was built by the Scarab Mark II was upgraded on by Starfounder in universe, to be kind of like a spacesuit for Scarab. So that's why it's a bit bulkier, because Scarab's original version is, a lot more skinny than this one. That's why that's why this one's a bit more bulkier. It is kind of like a spacesuit, and it can also, like, go underwater. Essentially just a more durable version of the second version of Scarab, and it does have upgraded weaponry and stuff. Unfortunately, though, in universe, Scarab is a bioformer, and in practice, in our world, I guess, Scarab is a bioformer too. But unfortunately, my version of him, and that came on the my version of Scarab is not able to transform. Scarab's version is, but with everything I've added on, the transfer when he transforms, it's just very bulky. So I do have to rework him a bit to make his transformation work with my own version. And there's a few other things I kind of want to change, but I wanted to get this video out on Scarab's birthday. So, yeah, there will possibly be a follow-up review to this guy in the future. We will see. But yeah, so, yeah, like I said, this is kind of like just an upgraded version of Scarab's armor, essentially. And, again, character-wise, I can't really get into too much. But yeah, that's kind of how this version came to be in universe. So, onto the actual mock. Now, I'll start off on the legs, because they're actually probably my least favorite, my least favorite attribute of the mock, because while I do think they look pretty cool, they are horrible for posing. He is very top heavy, and there is no friction adders here, because when I tried putting friction adders on pretty much every single joint of the leg needed one in order for him to not be as top heavy, it did not look very good. So I did have to remove them, and with that, he is very top heavy, and it just makes posing very difficult. Just the whole kind of way I built the legs, it is kind of difficult to pose with them. So yeah, I will probably have to rework the legs a bit and sacrifice some of the looks just to make it a bit more practical and easy to film with. But as for how they look, I am pretty happy with how they turned out. There's a lot of greebling on the lower legs and some system elements also. You're going to see a lot of trans blue system elements there. Some system elements on the upper legs. There's system axe pieces used to hold in this pin bushing, I guess is what you would call that. And also the Unikitty horns in silver. It's not really focusing. I just zoomed out a bit. Whoops. Okay, I did not mean to do that. Anyway, so, yeah, the legs, like I said, they look, for the lower legs, I'm pretty happy with how they look, just pretty horrible for posing, and the upper legs are kind of just, kind of standard CCBS build there. Although, like I did show, here's a tip for if you're using this specific bone piece, and oh god, the lighting is horrible there. If you're using this specific bone piece, a good tip is use a jumper and this kind of smooth anti-stud piece to fill out the gaps, because it does, it's pretty secure, and it does, I do think it looks pretty cool for filling in gaps there. So yeah, a little tip there. And also you're going to see a ton of tires on this guy, because tires are just really great for filling out gaps on MOC. So yeah, another mocking tip. I should just name this Mock Advice, and I can just, rip off Cal and LF. Anyway, so moving on to the torso. Now, the torso is just kind of your standard CCBS frame, nothing kind of unique there, but probably the most unique thing about the torso, as you can see, is there is some painted elements on here. So starting off with the brain attack torso, I did not a very good paint job because I did kind of rush it. Just it gets the job done though. I did kind of paint in the grooves in the torso just to add a bit more depth to the torso. I don't know, I think it looks pretty cool. And Scarab's official version does have these parts painted blue, so that is accurate, but I also painted these black just because why not? I don't know. Again, like I said, they add in a bit more depth, which I think is pretty cool. And there is some greebling parts up in there, those Exoforce arms, and the whole transformation pieces. Yeah, like I said, right now they're kind of just serving as a backpack because, again, the transformation doesn't really work, so I'm not going to show it in this video. Again, if I end up doing a follow-up, the transformation will be in that one. Or just go watch Scarab's review of his own version if you want to see the transformation. Link to that in the description as well. But yeah, as for the, even though they are useless, as for what they are, I don't know, I think the transformation pieces, I think they still look okay. I added on some extra greebling to the beams there. Oh my god, my leg sucks. And yeah, so the torso, it's pretty simple, but I did add on, there's a lot of greebling on this guy, and I still think it looks pretty cool. I also added in a kind of heart light of sorts in there. And another thing you're probably noticing is there's some non-Lego elements on here, like these little metal pieces I took from like a those like wooden clamp things. I don't know what you would call them. But yeah, I took these metal pieces out from there and I added them around these skull spider legs because I don't know, I just think it adds a bit more greebling, which is nice. And then also moving on to his arms. So the upper arms are pretty simple, just CCBS and some tires in there to fill in the gaps. But probably one of my favorite parts about the whole mock is the wrist-mounted machine guns, which Scarab's version also does have. The hand also is just just pretty much just a Hydrax on hand. And also, I think this is the way that Scarab has his hand built. I'm not too sure. But yeah, as for the wrist-mounted machine guns, I do like how they look. And as you saw in the thumbnail, I believe, yeah, their blades can come out of here, but they can't, come out of here physically. But in-universe, blades do come out of here. Yeah, you'll see that in probably the size comparison. But yeah, I also added on a lot more greebling here, as well as some more non-Lego elements. These kind of metal rings, I don't even know what these were from. They're from like a jewelry thing or something. But yeah, I just put them around what are these pieces called? Pneumatic tubes, I believe. Because yeah, again, it just adds a bit more greebling. There's a lot of greebling on this guy, like I said. And yeah, I still think it looks pretty cool. Again, though, I kind of got to remove some of the more greebly elements because they are typically the more greebling you put on a mock, the harder it is for stop motion. And I do want to make this guy a bit more easy to animate with in Regions Chronicles because this is how he's going to be looking in Regions Chronicles. So yeah, but then also, I didn't mention these. I really like how these are also not in Scarab's official version. These Power Miner pieces as shoulder pads. I really like how they look because they kind of give like a really unique shape to his shoulders. And again, they're not in Scarab's official version. I was just throwing parts together and I was like, hey, that looks pretty cool. So yeah, I do like how they look. They make posing his head kind of difficult. But yeah, I still think they look pretty cool. And also his head, you can pretty much see how that's built there. And I did Sharpie on, put some black Sharpie around his eyes because that is also how Scarab's official version looks. And I also added on just some droid arms on the side because why not? So yeah, that is pretty much the build. Like I said, a lot of greebling on him, which I do have to remove, unfortunately, to make him easier to film with. But yeah, as it stands, I do really like how he looks. And another thing before I get into the size comparison is I'm gonna be buying some LED lights to use for Scarab in some certain shots, just kind of like how Thatch did for Geode in Fodum, I think it was 6. Yeah, Thatch Mech, not Thatch. I'm not. Anyway, yeah. I'm gonna be buying some LED lights to put in his eyes, and I'm hopefully down in his chest. They're probably just gonna look pretty tacked on, but I don't know. Hopefully they'll look cool when I do get around to implementing those. So yeah, but as it stands, like I said, I am pretty happy with how he turned out. So yeah, onto the size comparison.
There was no other way.
Scarab sporting the wrist-mounted blades, as well as him next to Liwamata for a little size comparison. So yeah, Scarab is definitely a lot more. He's a lot wider than he is tall. But yeah, he's taller than a Toamata. He's on the taller side of my mocks overall. So yeah, size comparison. Now on to the end part. Alrighty, so to recap, overall, I really like Scarab as a mock and character. I'm talking about Scarab's version of Scarab, which, yeah, like I said, if you want to see a review of that, I'll link to that, from his channel in the description, as well as, I just remembered, I actually did a review of, my version of Scarab when I built him directly off of Scarab's original version. I did a mock slideshow of that back in, I don't even know when that was, like October of last year. So yeah, link to that as well. Oh boy, I'm screwing myself over of how many links I'm gonna have to remember to put in the description. But anyway, so yeah, as he stands, I really like Scarab as a character. I really like, from what Scarab has told me about his character, he's shaped out to be a really cool character in our universe, in our series. So yeah, again, like I said, check out Scarab's series when it is eventually out, which will be having Scarab as the main character. And yeah, thanks for watching. Happy birthday, Scarab, and goodbye. Also, a video on the new Tehran will be out soon. I've just been busy with other things, but that'll be out soon.